So your first question is, the chairperson is known to be the one who oversees the executive board meetings as well as the general body meetings. Are there any elements of e-board meetings or GBMs that you feel can be improved on? If so, what are they and how will you improve them?
So starting off with our e-board meetings, from the past 2 years, although I wasn't on board in my first or second year, I was able to see some meetings and how they were ran. And one of the things that I specifically liked from this year was the full transparency idea. I wanted to improve on that aspect because it's important to see like why we aren't able to attend events, or like it's important to see and have this open criticism on events or things that we should address during the meetings. So that's one of the things that I would like to improve on, especially during the second semester, because retention rates do decrease not only within the organization, but in eBoard as well. So I want to try to implement that specifically towards the second semester, just so that we are all on the same page and that we have the same activity and the same progress that we had within the first semester. And for our general meetings, I would like to include more interactive items. I know that this year specifically, it was like starting early on, our general meetings are starting to become really short with not only reports, but just activity. And with that, I think that one thing I want to improve on is that officers can still have a report even if they don't have an event coming up, because like I said in my speech, it's important to stay informed. So it's important to like talk about news today. So for example, for political reports, they could have more ideas of not only what's going on in today's news, but like past historical events that focused on politics. And this is just so we can increase our general members' knowledge of politics back then and how we can relate it to today's events.
And your second question is, being the chairperson means that you are the face of the organization. What qualities do you believe are important for you to show to the community to uphold your image?
So one of the biggest qualities that I believe in is servant leadership. And this is basically where the leader is the leader because they're serving their community and their members. And this is what I wanted to uphold this year specifically. Like I want to be able to work alongside our members, and I don't want to have that distinction between general member and e-board, or e-board and chairperson, or e-board and top four. So I want to be able to still blend in with the crowd, but as that leader, I'll be the one to take the initiative and lead us to where we need to go while still working with our members.
And your third question is, why do you think collegiate level Filipinx or Filipino American organizations exist, and what purpose do they serve?
So they exist today, the collegiate Filipinx orgs, because we're still at an age where we are the minority and we're seen as different. And we're not seen as equals to the public yet. So for example, today during the previous Zoom call, we had the intruders come in and like say all these hateful, xenophobic, and racist comments to us. And it just goes to show that we're not seen as like the norm. Kind of like what I said in the speech, we're not seen as an equal, and we still don't have the justice that we have. So I believe that it's important that they exist today, because even growing up, you still face all of these problems. Some may not be as harsh or as extreme as others, but there's still something that we all can relate on. and we all can come together to share those experiences and push that and advocate for equality and justice for not only Filipinos, but for minorities in general.
I'm taking a question real quick.
Okay.
There's multiple. Okay. What is your vision for our 50th year as an organization, and how will you execute this plan?
So for our 50th year, one of the things that I talked about in my biography is advocating for more community involvement. So one of the things that I wanted to do with this year specifically would be to reach out to more of the community, like not only within SC PASA, but within our local San Diego community. And with the support of our local community, I know that we can have community events to celebrate the 50th year anniversary. So this is something that we can hold events not only on campus, but off campus and invite the public to us, and to kind of have like a gathering to not only celebrate what Andres Bonifacio did, but to also inform others who don't know. Because since it would be open to the public, we'd be able to reach a greater audience and a greater like view of perspectives, and we'll just be able to spread more of our word to our local community, and they'll understand like what we're doing as an organization on campus and off campus.
Okay, thank you, Kaylani. Wait, is it 2 questions from the audience or 1? It was just 1, right?
Oh, well, there were a lot, so we can ask another one if you want. So, yeah, they are saying yes. Okay. So this question is, okay. Samahan's mission is to provide a safe space. What would you do in the event a GBMer feels unsafe or uncomfortable due to maybe an e-board member or maybe GBMer?
So something similar happened like this during this year's high school conference, where a student approached a workshop host or an executive board member, and they said that they were uncomfortable with the way that they were treated or talked to during one of the workshops. And once this information was relayed to me, what I did was I tried to contact that student. So I found out what workshop they were in, like their location, what their where they would be in accordance to the itinerary at that time. And so what I did was I talked to that student directly, and I pulled them aside so it's one-on-one, and I talked to them, and I basically said, I started off with apologizing because we are a safe space, and the way that the student felt uncomfortable at any point during the conference wasn't okay. So I apologized on behalf of the organization, and I talked about like, what can I do to help you move on from this? Because there are things that can be triggering to some members. So after talking to him one-on-one and kind of adjusting my solution based off of his needs, we went on from the day, and I tried to keep an eye on him, and I alerted some of the e-board members to say like, this person had a conflict and I just want to make sure that they're doing okay, because sometimes you can shut out based on certain things. And I didn't want that to happen to that student, especially because they would be there for a long time. So I just made sure that we're keeping a close eye on him, and that nothing worse happens, or nothing in the future of that day would make him uncomfortable with our organization.